My wife's little assistant had been blowing through my card, like money grew on trees. And at some fancy French restaurant, he actually called me a kept man, a total freeloader. That pissed me off. So I froze his card and left him stuck with a bill he couldn't pay. He got humiliated in front of everyone, and the manager made him stay overnight. When Layla found out, she just tapped my nose and smiled. Seriously, a grown man getting jealous of some kid? Now he's a laughingstock because of you. She didn't seem mad. Life went on like nothing happened until my birthday. When she took me out for French food, she ordered a ton of expensive dishes and bottles of wine. Said some friends were coming to join us later. Babe, I gotta step out real quick. Be right back to celebrate with you. I waited until the restaurant was about to close. She never came back. Neither did her friends. When I tried to pay, the manager said, "Mr. Dickerson, this card's been frozen." Frozen? This was the card Layla gave me before we left. She'd taken mine saying since it was my birthday, the bill was on her. I've been so touched. Even patted myself on the back for landing such a sweet, thoughtful wife. Now she was Mia. I called her like 50 times. Nothing. If this card didn't work, I was screwed. The manager's face went from polite to annoyed real fast. Mr. Dickerson got another card. Just so we're clear, we don't do tabs here. You knew that after last month, right? Oh, I remembered. Last month, Layla's assistant went on a spending spree with her card, then called me a kept man, a useless living husband. Wait a minute. A bad feeling hit me. Was this Layla getting payback for what I did to her precious assistant? Right on cue, I heard heels clicking at the entrance. I turned around and there was Layla walking in, arm wrapped around Jacob Delgado, who was glaring at me like he wanted me dead. Behind them was a whole crew of her friends, all watching me like I was the evening's entertainment. Rick Dickinson, you love watching people squirm when they can't pay, huh? Well, now it's your turn. Let's see how you handle it. The room went nuts. Heard this, Rick? Guy married into money. Now his wife shows up with her new boy toy to watch him suffer. That's what you get for being a kept husband. With nothing going for you. For real. How long did he think his looks would last? The second a rich woman finds a younger, hotter guy his free ride's over. My fists tightened. The humiliation burned through me. Just like I thought. Layla set this whole thing up for her little assistant. She walked Jacob to a table and pulled out a chair for him. Don't worry, sweetie, he said. Whatever Rick did to embarrass you, I'll make sure he gets it back tonight times 10. Jacob's face lit up. He leaned over and kissed her forehead. Thanks, Layla. Then he turned to me, eyes full of spite. Rick, you're just a useless kept man. Who gave you the right to freeze my card? He grabbed an expensive bottle of wine and smashed it at my feet. Crash. Wine splashed all over my face, making everything worse. Ha. Pathetic loser. Now I've got Layla to cover my tab. I can smash as many bottles as I want and she'll pay for it. But you, he grinned. You're done. Layla watched me with that same mocking smile. Stop glaring at me like you want to rip me apart. If you've got money, pay up and leave. Ha. What money? He couldn't pay this bill if his life depended on it. All those dishes, all those bottles they already opened. The total alone would make him choke. He's nothing but a kept husband without her. He's a nobody to really rub it in. Layla stood up and looked around the room. Anyone who helps Rick out of this mess becomes my enemy. And an enemy of the Galloway family. Everyone in Capital City knew. The Galloways were the richest family around. Nobody would dare cross Layla. A few business contacts I'd worked with, people I thought were friends, started to get up. But the second Layla dropped that threat, they sank right back into their seats. Scared she'd notice them? Damn. She's not playing right. I thought since they're still married, she was just venting. But this is serious. After that warning, who's dumb enough to help him? I lost it. I stormed over and grabbed Layla's wrist. Is this really what you want? To humiliate me in front of everyone for some pretty boy? Layla sneered and slapped me hard across the face. Crack. Yes. I turned back to her stunned. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of being the perfect couple. She was the one who chased me when I first came to Capital City. At our wedding, she made vows. Loyalty till death, love me forever. And now 3 years, that's all it took. Every promise, every memory gone. Wiped out by her cold, calculated cruelty. People always said kept husbands have no dignity. Second, a younger, prettier face shows up. The free ride's over. But Layla never got it. I didn't marry into her family for the Galloway's money. I did it because I loved her. She pulled out a tissue and turned away, wiping her hand like she touched something dirty. You knew how much I cared about that assistant. But you just had to push Rick. If you can't pay this bill, I'll have the manager strip you naked and march you out of this restaurant. The room exploded with laughter and jeers. Every pair of eyes stared at me like I was a circus act. She's really going all out, making her own husband walk out naked for the new guy. Can you believe this? He won't be her husband for long after tonight. He's just a stranger. This is gold. Let's just watch. Some older rich women at nearby tables looked me up and down. Oh, I want to see if he's got ABS under there. My face burned. Before we left the house, Layla took my wallet, made me let my guard down completely. All I had was this expensive suit on my back. Not a single dollar, and my phone was dead. That's when I realized she planned every single detail. Time's running out. The restaurant wants to close, and they're waiting on you to pay. Don't tell me you're broke. Because if you can't pay, they'll hold you here and call the cops. Sound familiar? You did that to me once, remember? Jacob pulled out a cigarette, lit it and made a point of blowing smoke right in my face. That smug look pushed me over the edge. Before I knew it, my hand shot up and I swept everything off the table. Dishes crashed, glass shattered everywhere. Layla rushed to Jacob's side, then signaled her bodyguards. He grabbed me and threw me back. Rick, stop it. What's wrong? You can mess with people, but nobody's allowed to fight back. I glared at Layla, my eyes burning. The Galloway family shot to the top of the wealth rankings in just 3 years, and I was the reason why. I used my family's influence to clear every obstacle in their path. Even the underground players, who wanted to cause trouble for the Galloways, backed off when they found out I was involved. Tonight was supposed to be different. On my birthday, I planned to finally tell Layla the truth, that I wasn't some nobody. I was the heir to the most powerful of Northport's 4 great families. I planned to bring her home to meet my parents. I never imagined someone could change this fast. I'd misjudged her, overestimated who she really was. Layla, you really want me to walk out of here humiliated? She let out a cold laugh. What did you think? That I set all this up just for fun? Jacob, feeling bold with the bodyguards around, punched me in the face. Listen up, Dickerson. You've got 2 choices. 1. You can't pay and they haul you off to jail. 2. You get on all fours with that steak in your mouth and crawl out of here barking like a dog. Oh, and here's the difference. Option 1, you leave naked. Option 2, you keep your clothes but lose your dignity. He laughed. Come on, pick already. I'm getting impatient. Dozens of eyes watched me like I was the night's entertainment. My fists clenched until my knuckles went white. I looked at Layla without any emotion. Fine, since this is what you've chosen. When Galloway Group goes bankrupt, that's on you. The words barely left my mouth before Jacob burst out laughing and the whole room joined in. Ha, did you hear that? Has this guy read too many romance novels? Does he think he's some secret billionaire? He's lost his mind. Layla's eyes blazed with fury. She thought I was bluffing too. She grabbed a plate of food and threw it at me. Cut the crap. You're gonna bankrupt my family. You think you have that kind of power? Worry about yourself, manager. The manager caught her signal and walked over with security. His voice was cool and professional. Mr. Dickerson, will you be paying cash, or is someone else covering the bill? At least he was keeping it civil. I scanned the room and spotted a business contact I'd worked with before, back when I was handling deals for the Galloways. I started walking toward him. Second he saw me coming, he jumped up and backed away. Rick, stay away from me. I can't pay for. Relax. I'm not asking you to pay. I just need to borrow your phone. Can I? I just gotta call a friend to bring cash. Ha. He's still putting on an act. Jacob shouted. Who in Capital City would actually show up for you? Go ahead, let him make his call. We'll give him 30 more minutes. If nobody shows up with the money, I'll let all these lovely single ladies here strip him down. A guy the richest woman in the city's been with can't be all bad, right? Jacob turned to the group of wealthy older women nearby. They've been eyeing me like wolves the entire time. Jacob's people handed me the phone. The second I got it, I called my friend and told him to get the money here in 30 minutes. Time ticked away, 10 minutes left. Jacob couldn't wait anymore. He stood up. I must be an idiot to believe this guy, his so-called friend, is gonna show up with cash. Yeah, right, exactly. He's just stalling. Manager, have your guys break his hands and feet already. Nobody's dumb enough to cross the Galloway family for this loser. Stop wasting time. As the manager and security guards closed and looking ready to kill, I raised my hand. Hold on. I've still got 10 minutes. When those 10 minutes are up, someone will be here with the money. Bullshit. When those 10 minutes are up, hell, I'll give you an extra 10. If nobody shows, I'll bite down on a piece of meat and crawl out of here on all fours. Like a dog. My eyes lit up. You said it. Remember that? Yeah, I said it. So what? Everyone here is my witness. The room went wild again. Ha, this is too good. I don't even want to go home now. Who knew dinner would come with a show like this? 10 minutes were almost up. One of the rich women couldn't wait. She reached over and ran her hand across my chest. Don't touch me. I slapped her hand away. Oh, those pecs. That body didn't even need to touch to tell. Very nice. She turned to Layla. Miss Galloway, why don't you just give him to me? Layla laughed and drained her wine glass, admiring her fresh manicure. Why not? If he can't pay, you're all welcome to do whatever you want with him. Then I'm going first. Everyone was sure I couldn't pay. They stopped caring about my consent and started grabbing at me. My voice dropped to ice. I wanted to kill someone. But the woman didn't care about the look in my eyes. Jacob shot a mocking look at Layla's bodyguards. Hold him down. Pin him so these ladies can have their fun. Yes, sir. The bodyguards swarmed me, surrounding me completely. I looked at Layla. My heart went cold. We were still technically married. And here she was letting other women grope me. She was humiliating herself as much as me. She didn't care. Stop looking at me like that. I'm not helping you. I just want Jacob to feel better. Layla's blessing. The women got bolder. Come with me, handsome. I've got money, sweetie. I can pay your bill for you. No. Come with me. I'm prettier than her. They told the guards to hold me down while they tore at my clothes. I fought with everything I had. Men in the room burst out laughing. I memorized every single one of their faces. You think this is funny? In a few minutes you'll be the joke. And you. I looked at Jacob. He spat at me. Strip him. Time's up. No more stalling. He didn't finish. Doors flew open. A squad of men in black suits stormed in, moving with military precision. They took down the guards surrounding me one by one. Then came Gavin Mercer, the most powerful bank executive in Capital City. He walked in carrying a briefcase, his face stone cold. Mr. Dickerson, I've got the money. Glad I made it in time. The silence in the restaurant was absolute. You could have heard a pin drop, or in this case, the sound of Gavin Mercer's polished Italian leather shoes hitting the marble floor. Gavin Mercer wasn't just a banker. In Capital City, he was the gatekeeper. If you wanted a loan for a skyscraper, you went to him. If you wanted to hide money in the Caymans, you prayed he didn't find out. And right now he was bowing slightly to me, Rick Dickerson, the kept husband. Like I was royalty. Mr. Mercer? Layla whispered, her face draining of color. She knew who he was. Galloway Group had been trying to secure a meeting with him for 6 months to fund their expansion. He'd ignored every call. Gavin ignored her. He walked straight to the table, placed the silver briefcase down, and clicked the latches open. Click, click. He flipped the lid. Inside were stacks of crisp $100 bills. $1 million easy. I apologize for the delay, sir, Gavin said, his voice smooth but carrying to every corner of the room. Traffic on the bridge was unexpected. Will this cover the bill? I straightened my torn jacket, brushing off the hands of the stunned bodyguards who were now backing away, sensing the shift in power. It should be enough, I said calmly. The bill is what? 50,000? Keep the change, manager. Consider it a tip for dealing with the trash. I gestured toward Jacob. Jacob was frozen, his mouth open like a fish gasping for air. The smugness was gone, replaced by a primal fear. He looked at the money, then at Gavin, then at me. This is fake. Jacob stammered, pointing a shaking finger. It's prop money. He hired an actor, just like I said. Gavin turned slowly to look at Jacob. He adjusted his glasses. Young man, Gavin said, his tone icy. Do you know who I am? I don't care who you are. Jacob screamed, his voice cracking. Rick is broke. He's a loser. Layla, tell him. Layla didn't say a word. She was staring at me, her eyes wide, searching my face for something she recognized. But the husband she knew, the gentle, accommodating Rick, was gone. I walked over to the briefcase, pulled out a stack of cash, and tossed it onto Jacob's plate of half-eaten steak. Thud. There's your meal, I said. Now about our bet. The room remembered. The murmurs started again, but this time, they weren't mocking me. They were terrified whispers. He said he'd crawl out. Is that really Gavin Mercer? Rick Dickerson. Who is he? I looked at Jacob. 10 extra minutes are up. You said if the money showed, you'd crawl out of here barking like a dog. Start barking. Jacob turned to Layla, grabbing her arm. Babe, do something. Call security. Kick them out. Layla pulled her arm away. She was calculating. She realized that if Gavin Mercer was here serving me, the power dynamic had just flipped violently. Rick, Layla said, her voice trembling slightly. Let's talk about this. We can go home and... Home. I laughed. It was a harsh, ugly sound. I don't have a home with you, Layla. My clothes are there. My things are there. But my home? No. I turned to the manager, who was currently sweating through his suit. Manager, this man made a wager in your establishment. I expect you to enforce the house rules. If he doesn't crawl, I'm buying this building and turning it into a public restroom. And you'll be the attendant. Gavin nodded. I have the purchase papers drafted in the car, sir. We can close by morning. The manager turned pale. He signaled the security guards, the same ones who had just pinned me down. Gentlemen, help Mr. Delgado honor his bet. What? No. Jacob shrieked as the guards grabbed him. Layla, help. Layla stood still. She looked at me, then at Gavin, then down at the floor. She chose survival. Jacob was forced to his hands and knees. The humiliation was total. He whimpered, then let out a pathetic bark. He crawled toward the exit, tears streaming down his face, the sound of his expensive pants dragging on the floor echoing in the silence. When he was gone, I turned to the room, to the friends who laughed, to the women who grabbed me. I memorized every face. I said softly, enjoy your dinner. It might be the last expensive meal you can afford. I turned to Layla. I'll see you in court. Rick, wait. She reached for me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. You lost that privilege when you let them put their hands on me. I walked out, Gavin flanking me, leaving my wife standing in the wreckage of her own cruelty. The car ride was silent. Gavin poured me a scotch from the limo's bar. Your father is worried, Gavin said. He saw the live stream. Of course. Someone had been streaming. I'm fine, I said, though my hands were shaking. The adrenaline was fading, replaced by a hollow ache in my chest. How bad is it for the Galloways? We've already initiated the freeze, Gavin said. Galloway Group relies on 3 major credit lines from Mercer Bank. We pulled them 10 minutes ago. Their stock will plummet by opening bell tomorrow. Good. Sir, Gavin hesitated. Your father wants you to come home. To Northport. Not yet, I said, looking out the window at the passing city lights. I have to finish this here. I need to make sure Layla understands exactly who she threw away. The next morning, the news broke. Mystery man humiliates socialite's boy toy. Galloway stocks tank amidst rumors of credit freeze. I was staying in the penthouse of the Mercer Hotel. My phone, which I had finally charged, was exploding. 500 missed calls from Layla. 200 from her mother. I ignored them all. I showered, shaved, and put on a suit that cost more than Layla's car. Then I went to the Galloway Group headquarters. I didn't need an appointment. I owned the building. Or rather, my family's holding company did. We had bought it through a shell corporation 2 years ago to help Layla keep her office when rent skyrocketed. She never knew. I walked into the lobby. The receptionist, a girl named Sarah who used to sneer at me when I brought Layla lunch, dropped her phone. Mr. Dickerson? Is your boss in? I asked. She's in a board meeting. You can't go up. Watch me. I took the executive elevator. When the doors opened on the top floor, I could hear shouting from the conference room. I pushed the doors open. Layla was at the head of the table, looking haggard. Her mother, Beatrice Galloway, was screaming at a terrified accountant. Jacob was there too, sitting in the corner, looking small and bruised. Who let you in? Beatrice screeched when she saw me. Get out. You've caused enough trouble. Layla stood up. Rick, please. We need to talk. We are talking, I said, walking to the empty chair at the opposite end of the table. I sat down. So, I hear you're having liquidity issues. This is all your fault. Jacob yelled, though he stayed seated. You and your fake banker friend. Gavin Mercer is very real, I said. And so is the eviction notice. I slid a folder across the long mahogany table. It stopped perfectly in front of Layla. She opened it. Her eyes widened. This says you own the building, she whispered. Impossible. Beatrice snatched the papers. He's a nobody. A busboy from Northport. Actually, I said leaning back. I'm Richard North. As in North Industries. The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush bones. North Industries wasn't just a company. It was an empire. We owned shipping lines, tech firms, real estate grids. The Galloways were millionaires. The Norths were billionaires. No, Layla breathe. That's. Rick, why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to be loved for me, I said. Not my wallet. And for 3 years I thought I was. Until yesterday. Rick baby. Layla started walking toward me, tears welling up. I was stressed. Jacob, he manipulated me. He told me you were cheating. He made me jealous. I love you. Stop, I said. You didn't humiliate me because you were jealous. You did it because you have no respect for anyone you think is beneath you. You watched them tear my clothes. You watched them laugh. I stood up. You have 24 hours to vacate the building. And Layla, I'm filing for divorce. Since we have a prenup that states what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. You get nothing. Because everything you have, the contracts, the connections, the reputation, was secretly mine. I turned to leave. Rick, she grabbed my arm. This time, I didn't pull away. I looked at her hand, then at her eyes. You broke the vow, Layla. For richer or for poorer. You failed the poorer part. Now you don't get the richer. I walked out. Behind me, I heard Beatrice slapping Jacob, blaming him for everything. It was music to my ears. The downfall of the Galloway family was fast and brutal. Without my unseen hand guiding their deals, their partners dropped them. The bank freeze crippled their cash flow. Within a week, they were selling assets. Layla tried to see me. She showed up at the hotel, rain-soaked, looking like a tragic heroine. Security didn't let her in. But Jacob wasn't done. I was leaving a restaurant a week later, my own restaurant this time, when a car screeched up to the curb. Jacob jumped out, holding a tire iron. He looked deranged. Unshaven, manic eyes. You ruined my life, he screamed, swinging the iron. My bodyguards intercepted him before he got within 5 feet. They tackled him to the wet pavement. He walked over. You ruined your own life, kid, I said. You poked a sleeping bear because you wanted to look cool in front of a girl. She hates me now, he spat, blood on his lip. She kicked me out. I have nothing. Welcome to the club, I said. This is what nothing feels like. Learn to live with it. I signaled the guards to let him go. He didn't attack again. He just lay there, defeated in the gutter. A month later, the divorce was finalized. We met in the courtroom. Layla looked different. Older. The spark was gone. She wore a simple dress, no jewelry. Rick, she said softly after the judge banged the gavel. Layla. Is there any chance, she asked. If I change? If I prove to you? No. I said gently. Because I'll never be able to look at you without seeing you laughing while I was being assaulted. That image doesn't go away. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I know, I said. But sorry doesn't pay the bill. I walked out of the courthouse into the bright sunlight. Gavin was waiting by the car. Ready to go home, sir? Gavin asked. Yeah, I said, loosening my tie. Take me to Northport. My parents are waiting. As the car drove away, I looked back one last time. Layla was standing on the steps, watching me go. She looked small. I turned forward. The city blurred past. I was Richard North again. The kept husband was dead. And for the first time in a long time I felt free.